Upcoming Crow reboot. We got some release date drama and the first reaction from CinemaCon. So stick around.
You're afraid of dying.
How do you know? You've never tried it before.
Now, as I said in the opening there, we got some updates on the Crow reboot, the most significant of which is going to be the release date. Now, initially this was slated to hit theaters June 7th of this year, but it's been pushed back over 2 months to August 23rd of this year. I don't think this has anything to do with the movie itself. I don't think they're doing any extra edits or anything like that. I don't think they're working on the movie. I think this is strictly a business decision. If you look at the theater release calendar for the month of June, there's a lot of big profile movies coming out. Just to name a few, you got The Bike Riders with Tom Hardy and Austin Butler. You got Bad Boys Ride or Die with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. You got The Watchers, which is M. Night Shyamalan's new movie starring Dakota Fanning. And you got A Quiet Place Day 1. However, the most significant movie coming out that month is going to be Inside Out 2. Now, this is a highly, highly anticipated sequel to a very popular movie. So, this also was slated to come out a week after the original release date of The Crow. And the drop-off in box office between week 1 and week 2 because of that movie would have been huge. Initially, you wouldn't think the fan base would overlap, and they don't. However, if parents are going out to a movie with their children, or they're going out, they're probably going to take their children, and they're not going to be seeing The Crow. They're going to be seeing Inside Out 2. So even if you wouldn't think the fan base, the audience would overlap, there's going to be a big drop off in box office because of that movie. So I think it's a wise decision to move to August. And not only did it move to August, but it moved to the end of August. Because August does have some other big movies. However, most of them are coming out before The Crow. So ideally, the audience who are going to go see those will have already seen them by the time The Crow comes out. The biggest movie is probably going to be Borderlands, starring Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, freaking Jamie Lee Curtis. It's going to be a huge movie, obviously based on the video game, so you have a built-in audience there. It also just looks like a big blockbuster fun movie. However, once again, it comes out before The Crow, so ideally people who are going to go see that will have seen it already, and The Crow has the best chance of success. The only one coming out after The Crow in August is Kraven the Hunter, which is a Sony released Spider-Man universe movie. I personally think it's going to go kind of the way of Morbius. It's going to fail. The reactions to the trailer didn't seem that positive. I don't know too much about the character, but it seems like they're changing a lot in the trailer, and people didn't seem to be too big a fan of it. So I think it's going to be like Morbius, and I don't think it's really going to take away from the box office of The Crow. With all that being said, August 23rd seems like a better date for The Crow to find success than June 7th. You know, it's an end of summer movie. People are going to go see some, kind of mindless action movie, because I think that's kind of what The Crow's going to be. Now, the other big update are the CinemaCon reactions. If you're not aware, CinemaCon is kind of a big industry trade show. Happens almost every year. It's in Vegas. It is open to the public. However, it is very, very, very expensive to go, so not many public people go. It's more for industry insiders and things like that. And it's not just, showing trailers and stuff like that. It's more of a trade show. Like I said, they're showing off new models of projectors and freaking popcorn makers and stuff like that. However, there is also panels by studios showing off and announcing upcoming movies. There was an extended look at The Crow reboot given to these people. Now, I want to caveat with this. I don't trust these reactions in the least. At the end of the day, the people who are giving you the reactions are paid critics. They're people who work in the movie industry, and their whole job is to watch and report on movies in some way. Report on social media, report on it by making videos, by writing in magazines or for websites. That's their job. And they're not being shown the whole movie. They're being shown selected little bits by the studios. And the whole reason for this is so that they'll go out and disperse and, give hype to more people. So it's very rare you're going to get someone saying something negative out of CinemaCon. Perfect example of this is The Marvels. When that came out at CinemaCon, the reactions were super, super positive. And then we see what happened with the actual movie. It took a big dump. It was not a good movie. It was kind of panned critically. It made fuck all at the box office. It didn't do well, So that's kind of where my head goes with this. With that being said, the reactions to the extended look at The Crow were also overwhelmingly positive. A lot of them said similar things. The most often mentioned thing is that it is very action oriented. It is very John Wick-esque. If you're having a modern action movie, that's what you're going to have. It's kind of like The Matrix. Now, when The Matrix originally came out, it was kind of a genre redefining movie. For like a decade and a half after that, any new action movie would say something like, best action movie since The Matrix. John Wick kind of did that as well. Every action movie after that kind of has elements of John Wick because it had huge success, and these people want to replicate that. So the fact that they're making a modern action movie, inevitably you're going to have some John Wick-esque style to it. There is one review from CinemaCon that I want to look at more in depth though, and there's one line that sticks out to me, and I'm sure you'll guess what it is. Now this comes from Jeffrey Harris over on X/Twitter. Lionsgate 2024. We get an R-rated extended look at The Crow remake. The footage showed lots of R-rated kills and gore. It looks like a significantly altered take on the material. Lots more explanation like the spirit who meets Eric in the afterlife. Obviously, the line I want to point out is, it looks like a significantly altered take on the material. That's the biggest problem with this movie, according to everyone who's had a negative reaction to the trailer. They're altering the material so much that it doesn't even really matter that it's supposed to be Eric and Shelley. This is kind of confirming the fear that most people have about it. Now, if you want to make a John Wick style Crow movie, cool. Just don't call it Eric and Shelley and people will be so much more well receiving of the movie. But that's kind of what, the general consensus is. It's an R-rated, gory, action-packed movie. It just happened to, be called a Crow movie and have some dude in face paint. But that's what I wanted to bring up. Those are the updates I wanted to mention. Let me know what you think about this Crow reboot now that we've gotten more information. Are you going to see it in theaters, or are you going to wait for it to come to streaming? Let me know down in the comments. And with that, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh. I hate goodbyes.